अब ये शरीर मूलक चीज़ नहीं है, ये अब मन के लेवल पे आ गया और इसको एड्रेस करना और भी सीरियस है। तो इसका क्या अर्थ है, संबंध का क्या अर्थ है, और टू बी विद द क्राउड, इसमें पीयर प्रेशर का क्या रोल है, उसमें हीन भावना या पीयर इसका जो वो अंश भी आ जाता है। तो अगर हम ये आइडेंटिफाई कर पाएँ कि ये चीज़ें मॉडर्निटी में है और मॉडर्निटी कुछ ही चीज़ों पर फोकस कर रहा है, बाकी चीज़ें छोड़ रहा है, बाकी चीज़ों पे ध्यान नहीं दिला रहा है, तो उसमें जैसे संबंध है और समाज है, इसमें हम कैसे इस प्रकार इसकी जो मान्यता है कि सुख तो शरीर में है, इससे बाहर निकल के और क्या कर सकें। और ये जो अभी डिस्कशन चल रहा है इसमें पवन भैया ने वो सेट कर दिया है टोन कि वो मॉडर्निटी को ध्यान में रखते हुए ही हम अब चीज़ों को बात कर रहे हैं कि इससे मॉडर्निटी से डील करने के लिए या मॉडर्निटी को समझने के लिए और मॉडर्निटी से डील करने के लिए क्या हम कर सकते हैं।
So, but you know, when you were raising this issue about social skills, people are immersed in their phones and all that. You know, my experience is slightly different. When I see sensitive young people, you know, let's say they are in their colleges or universities or they have come out, but they are sensitive, they are aware of what is going on, and they may not be able to articulate it, but somewhere they feel that it is not right what is going on, and they don't want to be part of this mainstream. Okay, there are many people like that. They may be a minority, but there are many people like that. They are extremely lonely today. You ask young people, you know, I have first-hand experience of those people, and even people my age for that matter. You know, because you don't find people to interact with who understand where you are coming from. So this social skill pressure is so much today, which is ultimately boils down to belonging to the mainstream. Okay, उसके लिए फिर बहुत सारा नाटक करना पड़ता है. One of those नाटक्स I was pointing out yesterday कि अंग्रेजी म्यूजिक समझ में नहीं आता तो भी नाटक करना है कि अंग्रेजी म्यूजिक समझ में आता है. And that's just an indication. You can extend it to many different areas. So social skill पे अभी इतना दबाव है. अभी जो इसने एग्जाम्पल दिया, we have to see that also. They come, एक आदमी इधर मुँह करके बैठा है, एक आदमी उधर मुँह करके बैठा है, कोई बात नहीं हो रही है, मीटिंग हो गई. Right? क्या सोशल, हमारे दृष्टि से तो कोई सोशल स्किल नहीं है. Right? So we have to see these things. Even this word, I feel sometimes, this whole emphasis on social skills is also coming from a certain mindset. That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering. I mean, I sometimes, because I see young people, I see people like Tanveer. I've interacted with him, and he's not the only one. There are many such young people. You are, because you know, what do you do? And then the choice is that you have developed those kind of social skills to make conversations, and the topic of those conversations will be of not your choice. If it is your choice, then you'll end up giving lectures, which no one likes. You know, and everyone doesn't have Ravindra Sharma's skills. He had a different way, you know. Everyone does, and if we start doing that, we'll be imitating. We'll become jokers. So I'm saying that it is, you know, and it brings me to the question, your question, that when you start understanding this issue of let's say, broadly speaking, modernity, and how it is impacting all our systems, everything around us, every single thing around us, and the more, इसमें एक चीज है कि the more dependent you are materially, let's say your requirements of material nature are of a higher order. One can do without an AC, the other cannot do without an AC. One can do without a car, the other cannot do without a car. The more your material needs are, the more dependent you are on this modern systems. It's सीधा equation है. the less you are, and no one is out of it. Only that sadhu who has all possessions are on his body, और वो यहाँ से गंगोत्री तक का यात्रा करता है पैदल. Maybe that fellow, maybe he is having ganja, doesn't matter. But agar if his material needs are very little, maybe he is out of the system. Otherwise, all of us are dependent on the systems, we are caught in the system. It's only a matter of degree. कौन ज़्यादा है, कौन कम है. इसको accept करना पड़ेगा. मतलब, at least this is my view, that we need to accept this even if we don't like it. So there are certain realities, temporal realities, transient realities is what, I don't put them in the category of isness, but this is that the reality of today, the transient reality, we need to be aware of it. Now at the individual, what can be done is, when Rinpoche described it very well one day, he said, you have to step out. What is this macro thing? Macro thing is like a river flowing, like the Brahmaputra flowing. That is the mainstream. If you don't like that direction in which Brahmaputra is going, the mainstream is taking you, you don't like it. But if you try to swim against it, either you are going to get very tired very soon and then you will drown. Or you have to fall in line and start moving in the direction of the mainstream. These are the only two choices. So what do? He said, you step out of Brahmaputra and make a small canal on one side of the bank, which is very narrow and which is like, tedi medi hai. Usme flow is less. And then you can perhaps swim in the different direction. But now this is a pictorial depiction unhone diya, and I like that. So this is all you can do at this moment. You can step out, and when enough people step out, then maybe, something may happen. But we can't, at least I have gotten rid of the burden that I have to do and change everyone and, समाज को बदलना है. वो मेरा बर्डन नहीं रहा था, होगा कोई ज़माने में, अभी नहीं है. और उसमें तुम रविंद्र शर्मा ने तो बहुत मदद की, उसके पहले ही धर्मपाल जी ने भी मदद कर दी थी, मजाक उड़ाते थे सब चीज़ों की. तो तो कि मतलब आप तो दुनिया को बदलने चले. तो ये इससे तो मुक्त होना ही पड़ेगा. एंड देन ये इस पे आ सकता है. एक नाउ आई सॉर्ट ऑफ I'll try to attempt what you asked, I'll try and attempt. See, one of the disease, I would say, of modernity is, which even at subtle level all of us are afflicted with, is this पहचान की जो एक मतलब मेरी पहचान, I should be known as someone. It is at very subtle level, but it is there. That is individuality. That is individualism. तो ये एक चीज़ recognize करने की बात है. How do you bring it into education? We can talk about it in detail. But एक चीज़ मुझे जो लगती है, and I can't say it for sure, but मुझे जो लगने लगा है वो ये कि the focus in education today, आज की जो education है, the focus on subject-based teaching, be it chemistry, be it Hindi, be it English, be it geography, history, whatever, ये जो subjects हमने किया है, ये focus subject-based teaching में एक इससे थोड़ा मुक्ति मिल सकती है क्या? Make it reality-based और वस्तु-based. For instance, you can take water and study water. You can take earth or soil and study soil. And whatever comes to in studying that, जो भी आपको विषय उसमें आएंगे, उसको आप लेके आइए. जिसको आजकल शायद नाम दिया है प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड लर्निंग दिया है, उसको नाम दिया है. हम लोग उसको बहुत पहले से करते थे, कोई नाम हम लोगों ने स्थानीय परिवेश से शिक्षण का नाम दिया. लेकिन इसमें क्या है कि आप कोई भी जो चीज़ है उसको ले लीजिए और उसको समझने का प्रयास कीजिए. और उसको जब समझने का प्रयास करते हैं तो ये बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि हम मॉडर्निटी में ही ना फंसेंगे तो सही आप, क्योंकि सारे जो कैटेगरीज है सब्जेक्ट की वो वहीं से आई है. लेकिन फॉर इंस्टेंस आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल. इफ वी आर स्टडिंग लेट्स से खेती को हम स्टडी कर रहे हैं, तो आप अपने बच्चों से पूछिए, इफ यू आर इन अर्बन सेटिंग इट इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट, बट इफ यू आर इन रूरल सेटिंग इट इज फार इजियर. You ask the children, what do your parents or what does your samaj think about these things? How do they see this soil? How do they see this tree? वो उसके बारे में जब बच्चे अपने घर से पूछ के आते हैं तो यूल भी हम लोग मैं तो एकदम दंग रह गया कि द काइंड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन दे गेट, द काइंड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन पीपल गेट, लाइक यू नो दिस काइंड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन कि भाई इस चीज़ को हम लोग फसल को जो है कृष्ण पक्ष में काटते हैं, हम शुक्ल पक्ष में नहीं काटते. फसल को जब काटना होता है कृष्ण पक्ष में काटते हैं. अब उसका क्या साइंटिफिक रीजन है नहीं है उसमें हम ज़्यादा नहीं पड़े. ये जो ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज सिस्टम है ये आपको भरा पड़ा मिलेगा. इफ़ यू आस्क द चिल्ड्रन दे गेट देयर फ्रॉम, बट अर्बन एरियाज़ में ये कम्प्लीटली शायद ख़त्म हो गया. थोड़ा बहुत फूड के बारे में हो तो हो, कोई दादी नानी आपको बता देगी स्वास्थ्य के बारे में, फूड के बारे में, बट बाकी चीज़ों के बारे में नहीं. हम आपको बताएं, ये जो बातें मैं आपसे कर रहा हूँ, एक बार मैं महाराष्ट्र में वर्धा में ऐसे ही कोई किसानों की मीटिंग में राजीव दीक्षित ने बुलाई थी. आई हैपन टू बी देयर, सो ही आस्क्ड मी कि पवन भाई आप भी कुछ बात कीजिए. तो मैं कुछ किया बात. तो वहाँ पे एक किसान खड़ा होके बोलता है कि मेरे गांव में एक आदमी है जो आपको एग्जैक्टली बताएगा कि आज बारिश होगी गांव में या नहीं होगी, कल होगी कि नहीं होगी, परसों होगी कि नहीं होगी. गांव में, पूरे इलाके में नहीं, उस गांव में. वो कैसे बताता है? वो शाम के वक्त जब सूर्यास्त होता है, एट द टाइम ऑफ सनसेट, आई फॉरगेट, एट द टाइम ऑफ सनसेट ही लुक्स एट द वेस्टर्न स्काई, एंड इफ द वेस्टर्न स्काई इज द कलर ऑफ रक्तिम, रक्तिम इज द वर्ड ही यूज, मीन्स ब्लड रेड, इफ इट इज लाइक दैट, then he notes it down in his diary, and 9 months from that day, not according to the modern calendar, the English calendar, but according to the तिथि वाला calendar, 9 महीने के बाद exactly that day, 9 महीने के बाद उस गांव में बारिश होगी. ये उसका मानना है. अगर वो आज रक्तिम है तो 9 महीने बाद वहाँ बारिश होगी. और ये एक्सपेरिमेंट थोड़े दिन के लिए हमने अपने स्कूल में किया. We started keeping a diary and it was quite accurate, I must say. You try and see, जैसे जून जुलाई में बारिश होती है ना, you see the sun in November December, it is रक्तिम mostly, you know, ये भी एक है. तो वो उन लोगों का मानना ये है कि उस दिन पृथ्वी और आकाश का संभोग होता है, तो उसकी जो संतान है वो बारिश के रूप में वो 9 महीने के बाद होगी. ऐसा वो मान, ये उनका लॉजिक है. तो ये जो है, मतलब मुझे लॉजिक भी, जिसको हम लॉजिक मानते हैं वैसे वही लॉजिक है. इस पे थोड़ा सा सोचना शुरू किया मैंने कि देयर आर डिफरेंट वेज ऑफ लुकिंग एट थिंग्स. यू नो, वी जस्ट लुक एट वन थिंग इन अवर टर्न एंड आवर स्कूल्स आर रीइंफोर्सिंग दैट. एंड हाउ दिस रीइंफोर्समेंट हैपेंस, आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल. वी आर टीचिंग, आई एम दिस जस्ट अ पेडागॉजी का मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. वी आर टीचिंग द सन राइजेस फ्रॉम द ईस्ट, आवर बुक्स टीच दैट, and many similar things. Now the difference is that rising of the sun is a thing that you can observe, and you know, if you believe ki the sun is stationary and earth is moving around, then you will say ki no, the sun is not rising, actually we are moving and therefore we are watching the sun rise. But we call it, the sun rises from the east. This is the books, what the book says. What we can say, we can teach is the direction from which the sun appears to rise. We call it east. So नामकरण जो है ईस्ट का, ईस्ट is a नामकरण, is a name we have given to a certain arbitrary direction. It is not existential. East is not existential. It's just a name given to that direction. That differentiation is not there in the child's mind. When we teach like this, he is assuming that the name east and the name sun are both the same category. They are not the same category. When we call a certain object the sun, it's a different category. It's a different genre. When we call something east, it's a different genre. पर जब हम ऐसे पढ़ाते हैं तो दोनों क्लब हो जाते हैं. तो ये जो शब्द और अर्थ का फर्क है, ये हम पढ़ा ही नहीं रहे हैं स्कूल में. तो क्या हो रहा है, शब्द हावी हो रहा है और अर्थ नीचे जा रहा है. तो आज के जो ये, और ये डिबेट इज अनदर थिंग, डिबेट इज अ वेरी वेरी, मुझे लगता है उससे दिमाग खराब होता है, क्योंकि यू आर टेलिंग द चाइल्ड कि तुम इस विषय पे पक्ष में बोलोगे, यू विल स्पीक फॉर द मोशन, यू विल स्पीक अगेंस्ट द मोशन, इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट व्हाट द चाइल्ड थिंक्स, उसका क्या ओपिनियन है, इसको तो ध्यान में ही नहीं रखते. सो ही लर्न्स टू लाई, in a way he learns to lie and justify that lying unconsciously from a very early age. So we are not, in our schools we are not aware of what we are doing inadvertently, unconsciously, the kind of assumptions that we are giving them. Either or is, this debate is again either or kind of a thing. My personal conviction is that the reality does not lie in the domain of either or. It is always and always either and or, and it changes from situation to situation how you will, like you will use a certain word in a certain situation, you will use a different word in a different situation to convey the same thing. Or you will touch a person's feet to convey that you are respecting that person, but if the person is very far, you will probably do just namaskar or you will just smile. There is no fixity in the doing business. In the gati business, there is no fixity. But the school is doing exactly that. They are not making these distinctions clear that the world of meaning is different, the world of reality is different, and how we express it, or how the doing world is different from the being world. The entire emphasis in today's education is on the doing, on the appearing, on the seeing, on the visible, on the tangible. And therefore a lot of natak is happening, a lot of hypocrisy is happening, a lot of falsity is happening, and a lot, not just fooling the other, but fooling yourself first and foremost. But because sometimes you are successful in this material world, therefore you don't realize your falsity jab tak gaadi chalti hai.
I was going to say something similar, that when you were actually describing the stepping out, तो मैं उसको अपने दिमाग में I was actually visualizing the mighty Brahmaputra and then a little canal, and I was just a thought that because I'm also thinking of Sahyog and Sangharsh still, तो और कल हमने simultaneity की बात की, and we're also coming with the intention of discussing the original mind. I was just wondering if the simultaneity of this Sangharsh and Sahyog in trying to dig out that canal, is that perhaps a pathway towards the original mind? Is that the path? Could that be a pathway towards that process of digging that canal, of that stepping out, and the simultaneity of the Sangharsh, of the challenges and the coming together? Could that be perhaps a pathway towards something original? Just
कितनी चीज़ें हमको लेना है, बट हमेशा के लिए ट्रांजिएंट फेज के लिए, वी हैव दैट थिंग. मजबूरी में कोई काम कर रहे हैं और जैसे ही वो मजबूरी ख़त्म होगी, मतलब ऑटोमेटिक है, यदि वो मजबूरी आप मान के कर रहे हैं तो जैसे ही वो मजबूरी वाली कंडीशन ख़त्म होगी, अपने आप वो चीज़ छूट जाएगी. तो सिलेक्टिव एक्सेप्टेंस फॉर अल्टीमेट रिजेक्शन, अल्टीमेटली तो हमको रिजेक्शन है दिमाग में, लेकिन फॉर द टाइम बीइंग वी हैव एक्सेप्टेड इट, लेकिन मजबूरी के रूप में. तो वो ये दो चीज़ों को आप कंबाइन करके करते हैं, वन इज़ दिस स्टेपिंग आउट एंड देन दिस, तो फिर बहुत सारे रास्ते खुलते हैं. जैसे अंग्रेजी दवा, बिल्कुल सही बात है. जी.
In our definition, when the realization happens, then we receive it as our truth.
What comes to my mind is that there is a deep need to understand modernity, and what you are saying, I completely resonate with it. I see it as a continuum from colonialism to this modernity that we are talking of. And if you see that it is designed, in a physical sense, it is designed to uproot us from the real. So the educated person like me doesn't know how to grow food. He doesn't know anything real, which is essential for living. and this is the case with most of us. So it is designed to remove you from the real, and in this movement from the real to the unreal, you become automatically more dependent on the system. Even though you are fighting the system, you are resisting the system, you are not liking the system, but your dependency on the system increases in direct proportion to the removal from the real. So that one removal is from the soil, from the, if you want anything that you need, all that you have been removed. You are living in a world where you have to do something which is not real to earn your living. That is one. But where it has come to now is that even in our thinking processes, the way we reach our conclusions, the way we see things, even that is being controlled in a very subtle manner through something called education and now media. So education and media both are designed to control your mind. The impression which the education gives or media gives is that now you have so much information, you know so much, so you are becoming empowered. That is the impression it is giving. And you like that impression, you receive that because it inflates your, ahankar. I won't call ego नहीं बोलूँगा मैं, मुझे नहीं समझ में आता उस शब्द का, पर अहंकार ये एक तरह का घमंड हमें आता है कि we now know, and actually you don't, because you are completely dependent. Like that experiment that I was telling you about yesterday, there is something which is happening there, but the conclusion is actually being imposed on you that the candle got extinguished because of the oxygen which was there it was entrapped, and therefore the water rose in the thing. Now this is a conclusion which has been imposed from outside. You are not drawing that conclusion, but you assume that you have drawn that conclusion. This is the impression which each child feels that, now he knows and now he knows this. He has drawn this conclusion. This is so subtle that someone else is drawing the conclusion, giving you ideas, imposing values on you, and you are actually imbibing them without knowing that you don't know. You are just doing it. And in the process, what is happening is आपका अहंकार बढ़ रहा है. आपको award भी मिल रहा है. You are being recognized. You are getting recognition because you write an article along these lines and you are recognized. You are even getting Nobel Prize like that. It's serious, You are getting Magsaysay Award like this. You are getting Pulitzer like this. You are getting Booker like this. And when someone gets, say my son gets that prize, and I'm thinking along the line that I am doing here, and my son is getting that, now see the struggles. So I'm just giving a an example just to demonstrate that how powerful this mainstream, let's call it the Brahmaputra, influences are coming from each and every side. And we can discuss classical meanings. But if we don't see the real here, then that will remain in one slot and the life will go on in another slot. There's going to be no integration between the two. My feeling is modernity is designed to make you dependent and a parasite in every single way, not just physically and materially, but mentally and emotionally. When we talk of self-reliance, to me it means not just self-reliance in terms of that I grow my own food, which a lot of my friends are attempting, and hats off to them. But it is only a small part. Mentally and emotionally, are we independent? And how do we, for me, a gathering like this is important because if one feels this struggle, this discomfort, and this problem with modernity, if you feel, the more you will feel, the more you will realize that how difficult it is to be in it, immersed in it, and yet be untouched by it. If Rajiv bhai, you were saying before lunch that you can be there. There's no pressure. You can feel like that. I mean, I won't say that that's wrong, because obviously you're speaking with conviction and you're speaking with utmost honesty. And knowing you, I have complete belief. I believe you. But a person like me is struggling. I am struggling. And I don't think I'm struggling only because I'm so unique and I'm so weak and others are more powerful than me. And I don't think so. I think I'm just an average person, anyone like us sitting here. And I'm not weaker or more stronger than the other. And but I feel it. The point is how much you feel it. How much you feel it. This thing, I mean, it is very, very subtle. We have become we have been made helpless in this situation. Now, I'm not talking of pessimism here. Let me again say something, because I'm often attacked, or people tell me that मैं निराशा की बात करता हूँ. मैं करीब 10 साल पहले या 7 साल पहले, मुझे याद नहीं है, शायद तेंजिंग जी को याद होगा, मैंने रिम्पोचे जी से 5 दिन 6 दिन मांगे कि मैं आपके साथ अकेले बिताना चाहता हूँ, कुछ बात करना. इन्होंने बहुत अनुकंपा की और मुझे दिया वो समय. तो एक जगह हम लोग गए, धर्मशाला के पास. हम 5 दिन 6 दिन साथ रहे, और रिम्पोचे जी मुझे सुबह और शाम, और खाने के अलावा, खाते हम लोग साथ थे, लेकिन उसके अलावा मुझे 1-8 घंटे सुबह और 1-8 घंटे शाम को हम लोग मिलते थे. बाकी समय रिम्पोचे जी अपना अध्ययन साधना करते रहे और मैं अपना साधना करता था. तो आधुनिकता पे बात हो रही थी, होती ही थी, रोज़ ही होती थी. तो एक दिन मैंने रिम्पोचे जी से पूछा कि रिम्पोचे जी, ये आपको कुछ इसका अंत दिखता है? ये जो हो रहा है, युद्ध और आतंकवाद और पर्यावरण और रिसोर्स डिप्लीशन और ग्लोबल वार्मिंग एंड ऑल काइंड्स ऑफ थिंग्स, आपको कुछ इसका दिखता है कि कभी ये ठीक होगा? तो रिम्पोचे जी का मेरे जीवन काल में तो नहीं, और अगले 50 साल में भी नहीं. तो मुझे लगा रिम्पोचे जी तो निराशा की बात कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि सब पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग का ज़माना है ना. तो अगर कोई बोले निराशा, तो उसको तो रिजेक्ट कर दिया जाता है, जैसे लेपर्स को किया जाता था. तो मैंने बोला, ये तो निराश, तो पर रिम्पोचे तो निराश नहीं लगते, इतना घूमते हैं जगह जहाँ इनको मौका लगता है अपनी बात रखते हैं. तो निराश आदमी तो ऐसे नहीं करेगा, क्योंकि मैंने निराशा और डिप्रेशन को एक कर रखा था. और मेरे दिमाग में, क्योंकि मेरा दिमाग भी आइदर और में चलता था, तो मेरे लिए होपलेसनेस वाज निराशा. And then suddenly something struck in me, and that was that he is Nirash, but he is not Hatash. और निराशा और हताशा में एक फ़र्क है. और फिर मुझे सरन साहब को मैंने पढ़ा था, तो सरन साहब एक बात करते, रिम्पोचे जी, आपने तो वो किताब का शायद आपने लिखा भी है, अमुक भी, उसमें वो लिखते हैं शुरू में ही, इल्यूमिनेशन में, ही इज़ टॉकिंग ऑफ फेथ एंड होप. And he is talking of them in sort of that they are kind of two sides of the same coin kind of a thing. So I felt at that time, when you said that, and when this happened within me, that this is what, when Saran Sahib says hope, Rinpoche ji is hopeful, and his hope comes from a deep faith, not the kind of faith that we talk, but something very, very deep. So I feel that in modernity, एंड मैं अंधविश्वास की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, हम लोग जब अनसर्टेनिटी की बात करते हैं, सो वेयर इज दिस अनसर्टेनिटी? दिस इज नॉट समथिंग दैट वी हैव टू बिलीव. अनसर्टेनिटी टू मी इज ओमनी प्रेजेंट. ओमनी प्रेजेंट. देयर इज अ कहावत है अंग्रेजी में कि देयर इज मेनी अ स्लिप बिटवीन द कप एंड द लिप. दिस स्मॉल डिस्टेंस ऑफ 1 foot, देयर कुड बी सो मेनी स्लिप्स. Uncertainty is omnipresent, ever present, all the time present. Anything can happen anytime. Good and bad is a different thing, but anything can, unexpected. It strikes you. So I was wondering, being from the scientific background, maths ka background, physics ka background, so I was just mulling over it. And I said, where does uncertainty stay before it manifests itself? If it is omnipresent, तो वो रहती होगी ना कहीं पे, या रहता होगा, जेंडर नहीं पता उसका. तो वो जो भी है अनसर्टेनिटी, वो कभी कभी मैनिफेस्ट होती है. So where does it reside before it comes into the known? So then I said it remains in the realm of the unknown. The unknown is also ever present. And this unknown is at the micro level, at my individual level. I don't know so many things, but you may know. So for me, there is a sphere of unknown and there's a sphere of known. But at the collective level of humanity also, there's a sphere of the unknown and there's a sphere of the known. And there's a movement both sides. And things keep moving from unknown to known, which we call inventions and discoveries, etc., etc. This is the movement from the unknown to the known. But there's a reverse movement also, which we call Vismriti. We forget, both at the individual level and at the collective level. We have forgotten what may have happened 10,000 years ago in India. What happened during the Mahabharata Yuga or the Ramayana Yuga. We don't know. So there's a reverse movement also. So the movement is both sides. But the point is, uncertainty is, and uncertainty resides in the unknown, and from time to time it gives you a knock that I'm there. So it manifests itself. And this led me to faith. I had no faith. Again, coming from a certain conditioned background of so-called scientific left-oriented thinking and all that, very progressive. So I was proud of having no faith. I used to be proud, foolishly proud, you know. This led me to have faith in the unknown. And which, when I'm saying, I'm not talking of rahasya, or I'm not talking of some mystery. It's a reality for me that it is there and it needs to be respected. That space which is known as unknown. And this is a praman of that, this uncertainty कि unknown is there. तो मुझे उससे, I'm connecting it to what Saran Saab says. And what that day happened to me when I was talking to Rinpoche ji. That when he says hope and faith, then this is where I connect, that ultimately things are the way they are, you know, and it is all in a certain order. एक सहयोग जो रिम्पोचे जी कहते हैं, वो जो एक व्यवस्था है, दूसरे शब्दों में एक there is a order, there is a व्यवस्था, and that larger व्यवस्था is absolutely fine, you know. In the temporary, in the transient world that we and me are living, we are all kinds of things are happening. Yes, yeah, but we are a small speck. Ultimately, we are a small speck. I mean, this is not philosophy, but this is reality. We are very, very small part of it, and therefore, in the ultimate sense, it is all fine. And we do what we have to do. एंड यू नो जो वो है कि भाई आप उसमें एक दिन मैं और अनुराधा मसूरी में थे, रिम्पोचे जी आए थे तिब्बती स्कूल में वहाँ पे लाइब्रेरी की तरफ. सो वी गॉट अ कॉल, आई थिंक तेंजिन कॉल्ड अस कि हम लोग आए हुए हैं, आप आना चाहें तो आइए. सो वी ऑब्वियसली वी वेंट देयर एंड रिम्पोचे जी आस्क्ड अनुराधा कैसी हो, तो अनुराधा कहे रिम्पोचे जी थक गए, बहुत थक गए. तो रिम्पोचे जी ने कहा क्यों थक गए, जब तुम्हारा जब परिणाम पे या मंजिल पे आपका अगर फोकस होगा तो थकोगे, प्रोसेस पे अगर रहेगा तो नहीं थकोगे. छोटी सी बात बोल दी उन्होंने, इतनी बड़ी बात. तो ये प्रोसेस पे रहना क्या, आई हैव टू मेक एन एफर्ट, और आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस इज द वे इट इज. You know, एक तो है, उसमें तो मशक्क़त है बहुत, कि जब हमको ये लगता है कि ऐसा करना चाहिए, ये चाहिए बहुत ख़राब हो जाता है, लेकिन जब हमको लगता है ऐसा ही है, देयर इज़ नो अल्टरनेटिव, देन दैट्स द वे इट इज़। तो फिर उसमें निराशा नहीं है। पर अगर चीज़ें जैसी हैं तो वो आप बोलते हैं तो उसमें लगता है कि ये निराशा है, तो वो दूसरे का प्रॉब्लम है।